Do you ever wonder where ministers get their talks, how they get inspired for that? Well, I know that some Christian churches have a pattern of calendar that they follow for the year, and so they're kind of built in. They just have to find original ways to express it, right? So I've been talking here at Unity for, I think the first talk I did here was in January of 2018. And of course, then COVID hit, But throughout that time, when it came time to give a talk, what I did was I gave the message that I felt compelled to give. And so I would have something just waiting. Oh, good, I can talk about that at Unity. I think the first talk I gave was using love as a tool. I don't remember the others, but that one I remember. And so this time, it hasn't been that long since I talked here. And when Sandra called me and asked me to talk, I thought, what shall I talk about? I don't know. Okay, well, it's time to sit down with a pencil and a paper and spirit and say, okay, give me something to talk about. Give me a compelling message. I sat down with that pencil and paper and nothing came. I'm going, Spirit, what's going on? I thought, well, maybe this isn't the way it's going to happen this time, So I decided to read a book. I'm sitting there reading just a plain old fiction book. It's not all about messages or anything like that. It's just a book. And the main character is thinking about this person who has wronged her, has abused her, whatever. And she was angry. And she thought to herself, should I forgive him? Nah, he doesn't deserve it. And I thought, what does deserve got to do with forgiveness? Oh. And then it hit me. Well, that's how most of us think about things. That whoever, maybe they're criminal or whoever did whatever they did, they should suffer. They should suffer like I did. They should pay for whatever they did. And that's how I felt about certain things that had happened in my life when it came time to forgive. That's what I thought. Well, they don't deserve it. So I thought, oh, this is a perfect talk. And part of the reason it's the perfect talk is that I've had reason to forgive in the last couple years. Most of you know that my husband died in February of 23. And at the time, he and I had spent a lot of time figuring out what his end of life was going to be like. And my son, Jesse, gave us a deck of cards called Go Wish, and they helped to get that conversation started so that we could talk about what he needed or wanted for his life. And the first thing that was most important to him was he didn't want to be hooked up to machines. Well, that kind of leaves the hospital out, doesn't it? And so the second thing he wanted was to die at home. Well, those were very compatible. The third thing, these are the most important things to him. The third thing was to not be in pain. So we had a hospice. They gave me morphine and lorazepam, taught me how to use it, and every time he was in pain, I helped him. And he was one of the most cheerful, wonderful guys you could ever meet. The last day of his life, I was in the living room. It was like 6 in the morning. He wasn't up yet. And the night nurse was there. And we hear over the baby monitor that was in his room, "Good morning, time to wake up, good morning." That's just who he was. He couldn't get out of bed by himself. He couldn't take care of himself, but that didn't matter. You know, he was still enjoying life. So that day, along about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I went in the room, and it was obvious to me that something had happened. And I called hospice and said, I think he's failing. I think he's going. And the nurse came out and agreed with me, and my best friend Marilyn came over to spend the time with me. And at 4 o'clock, I went into the room and I sat on the bed by him, and I had my hand on his shoulder, and he kind of looked up at me and he said, I didn't know it was going to hurt so bad. And right away I thought, oh my God. And the nurse was there, and he's nodding, you know, and I run and get him the morphine, because I hadn't known that he was in pain. And I gave him the morphine. And that was the last thing he ever said to me. He died at 5 o'clock. It was like being stabbed with a dagger. I was so upset with myself for not knowing that he was in pain and that there was something I could do about it. Well, intellectually, I knew it wasn't my fault, but that's not how it felt. I was so angry at myself, and I was angry at life. I was angry at spirit. I was angry at everyone. An opportunity for self-forgiveness. It took a long time. I don't think I even told Jesse about it for a long time. Because I knew it wasn't my fault, but I just couldn't let go of that. So it took a lot of affirmations, a lot of talking to spirit, a lot of learning to let go of that, because when you have all that anger and drama that you're hanging on to, it fills all the spaces where spirit can come in. You've got to let go of it before spirit can come back and fill you. One of the things, I'm an energy medicine practitioner, and one of the first things that we learn is that in order for energy to move through your body, through yourself, your energy body, you have to make space. And you make space by getting rid of the stuff that's clogging it up. And so I started doing affirmations. I started talking to spirit. I started journaling all about this particular thing, and I realized that I needed to forgive myself. Even though really wasn't my fault, I shouldn't have to forgive myself. But that's not how it works. How it works is you have to let go of that. And for me, the only way to do that is through affirmations, through talking to spirit, through saying to myself, you are a good person. You did your best. It's kind of like singing that song here today. I did my best, but nerves get in the way sometimes. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. You are spirit yourself. And when you invite spirit in, it fills up all those spaces that are telling you that you're not good enough and you didn't do the right thing and you didn't blah, 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 blah. I was really good at that. So that's forgiveness of self. Now, when someone does something that harms you or harms your family or whatever, the forgiveness is not so easy. Well, I didn't think this was easy, but but when you have to forgive something of someone who has harmed others, that is very difficult. And I was abused as a child, and over my lifetime, I had stuffed down all those feelings of anger and hate and sorrow and fear down in, and I was so stuck, so full of them, that what happens when you do that is your body says no. There's a book called The Body Says No by a gentleman named Dr. Gabor Mate. And what he says in his book is that if you are a victim of childhood trauma and you stuff down all those things for so long, your body loses the capacity to handle stress. And then you get sick. For me, it was cancer, colon cancer. Sometimes it's MS. Sometimes it's an autoimmune disease like traumatic, whatever, what's that called? Doesn't matter. Pardon me? Yeah, something like that. So you have, there's all kinds of things that can go wrong with your body, and they will if you keep hanging on to all of that. So after I had surgery and recovered, and I'm feeling pretty good, and I read this book, and I'm going, oh crap, this could happen again if I don't learn how to deal with this. So of course I go to therapy. And I went to a woman who does energy psychology, lots of tapping, lots of other unique techniques to help you release all that. I had PTSD, and she helped me get rid of the PTSD. I was feeling so much better, and I'd been doing this for a couple of years, and I said to her, I think I'm done. And she said, well, you are doing much better. The PTSD has faded, but there's something you need to do first. And I said, what's that? Forgiveness. And I was like almost furious, like, why do I need to forgive? I haven't, this person that was the perpetrator in my life had never admitted he did anything wrong, had never apologized, had never said, I'm sorry, had never even admitted that there was anything wrong. So why should I forgive him? And she looked at me and she said, it's not about him, it's about you. You're carrying him around on your back like a load of rocks. And until you release that, you can never move on from this. One of the things that I had done in order to deal with all this throughout my life is I identified myself as a survivor. I am a survivor. And I was proud of that. And I would tell my story all the time. I'm a survivor. And so now she said I had to let go of that because I'm so much more than a survivor. And that hanging on to that just kept it in my life. So it was time to drop the rocks. It was time to cut the cord. It was time to untie whatever was attaching me to him. And by this time, he's dead. He's not even alive. So it felt to me like this was, useless. But we started working on it. And I don't remember, I can't tell you, this was probably close to 20 years ago now. And all I know is it took a while. It took a while to let go of all of that. But when I did, it was like a miracle. I called this talk the blessing of forgiveness. It was a blessing. I didn't remember. I went like 3 years without ever even remembering that I was a survivor. How does that happen? And this friend of mine I hadn't seen for a while, and we were chatting about something, and she says, and I don't know how it came up, and she said, I thought you were a survivor. I'm going, oh, I forgot all about that. And it was such a blessing because I had made space for joy in my life, for love, for peace, for enjoyment of life. It's not easy, but it's well worth doing. So I not only forgave him, I forgave myself because there's a lot of guilt that goes along with being a victim. And you may know in your mind that it's not your fault. You may know you didn't ask for that. You didn't bring it on yourself. But that's not how you feel. You feel guilty, you feel angry, you feel fear, you feel all those things. So letting go of it is just a joy. If you have anything that you're hanging on to, anything at all, it's time to let it go. It's always time. I want to say I was reading, I looked up what Jesus had to do about forgiveness along the way, just to see if I was on the right track or not, and he kept talking about the other cheek or about forgiving 7 times and forgiving 777 times. And the thing that I want to say about that is that because you forgive someone doesn't mean you have to stay in contact with them. I have a brother who's a user of people, takes advantage of everyone he comes into contact with. I have forgiven him for that, but that doesn't mean I want him in my life, because I know myself well enough that if he was in my life, pretty soon he would own my life. So I let him go. So that having to forgive time after time after time after time, sometimes you just need to get yourself out of that situation. You can't do it as a kid. So you end up stuffing things down forever. But as an adult, when someone's taking advantage of you, the best thing you can do is find a way to not have that person in your life. And let them go with love and joy, peace. So that said, my son is here, and he's going to sing a song, or play the guitar, so I can sing a song for you. It's a song written by Linda Webb Kakaba. Kakaba. Is it up there? Kakaba, there we go. Now, I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but no one else knows either. So this is called Nothing Left But Forgiveness. And Linda, WK, she wrote faith songs, wonderful songs. And a friend gave me a whole stack of these books of Daniel Nahmod and all these people that write music for faith and spirit. And I found this in it. And I think you'll really like it. So here's Nothing Left But Forgiveness. If I can get my glasses on. There we go. When the anger has died and the shame disappears with the echoes of lies spoken over the years and accepted no more, we let go of the fear. There's nothing left but forgiveness. After heartache and sorrow and love that has died, and the most bitter feelings we kept deep inside fade to nothing as lessons of life realized. There's nothing left but forgiveness. When the reasons have vanished, their power is gone, and the places they took us have led us back home, and the hatred forgotten has left us alone. There's nothing left but forgiveness. Only so far we'll go till this knot is untied, and the anger and heartache no longer denied, till we stand in the silence and then realize there's nothing left but forgiveness. 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 We need forgiveness. Forgiveness. Thank you. All right. Can you take it? Okay. I did want to say one last thing. Meditation. When we meditate, so it can have such a strong effect on everything we do, and it's great for helping you overcome that need to forgive yourself, to let it go, to let you be who you are. So right now, what I'd like you to do is to close your eyes and put your hands on your legs. Take a nice deep breath in. And then release it. Take another deep breath in. And as you release it, bring your hands up to your heart center. Take another deep breath. And as you release it, raise your hands to the universe and say yes to life. Yes to love. Yes to peace. Yes to joy. And breathe in and bring your hands back down to your heart and feel that love, hope, joy, peace in the very center of you. Take another deep breath in. And as you release it, open your eyes and come back to this place and time. And know that you are worthy of forgiveness. And it is a blessing. All right. Thank you very much for inviting me here today.